story
The
and then
story and the
characters.
characters.
We should do story first.
Yes, so I have a lovely review on each disc. I also have the opening, like the introduction they have, which is probably on the back of the cover of the games. So I will read that first because it sounds hilarious.
Oh, exciting.
At the forefront of a rising tide of violence brought on by Galbadia's War of Declaration is a seed cadet named Squall Leonhardt. Badass name, by the way. Serious to a fault, Squall has earned himself the reputation of being a lone wolf. A chance encounter with the free-spirited Renoa Hartley, which I never actually knew that was her last name until now, however, turns his universe upside down. Having thrived on discipline, Squall finds Renoa's carefree attitude fascinating. There is no time to ponder these thoughts. The job of dealing with the sorceress behind Galbadia's irrational hostility has fallen to Seed and Squall.
All right.
I have problems with that,
I mean,
but I will get to that
if
as we go along.
If I'm a 16-year-old kid and I see the cover, I'm like, okay, I guess I'll read the back, and then I read the back and that's there. I'm like, that sounds interesting enough.
It's a rent. It'd be renting.
Because you would also know that it's going to be long because it's 4 discs. So
yes.
So you'd have to buy it, but
so
it'd be like a buy with your friends.
Exactly. So Act 1 or Disc 1 was pretty solid. I liked it.
Disc 1 was good. I think it was a really good way for the story to start and to progress.
Yeah. Like most of the characters in Final Fantasy have different dark or regular settings. Titus, professional sports star. Cloud, mercenary with a lot of mental problems.
Well, I mean,
Zidane from 9, basically a actor, bandit, does all this random stuff. Squall's a fucking student. He is in school. Props to this man.
Right? Well, to be fair, he does graduate. Right in the beginning of the game.
Early on, too. Like, the first few missions are cool. It obviously starts with him getting the iconic scar across the, his brow.
Yep.
Which Cypher also gets one as well.
Yep. Which was good. Cypher's a great character, but
so that was cool. He did the test with Quistis, who, let's be honest, for the first disc of the game, she was like Jessie Final Fantasy VII Remake levels of power thirst. She was thirsty as fuck for this guy.
Quistis is great, but the whole mission in which you do graduate,
that was cool.
So cool. You have like that thing that's in like the cinematic graphics chasing you.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
And then you can kill it if you're lame, or you can run to the beach and then Quistis shoots it down. You're like, hell yeah.
Like, I remember I finally get to the town square, where you were supposed to be, until Cypher gets really bored and does his own thing, costing the mission, by the way. Like,
kind of.
No shit.
Like,
he gets bored, leaves his post, which basically screws him over.
To be fair, though, like, they would have failed the mission anyway.
Yeah, true. But he probably would have became a seed if he just
he would have passed
and followed orders. But no, he's like, I'm Cypher, I can do whatever the fuck I want, and just fucks everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, running to set the square with that thing after you, I'm like, okay, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I got like maybe a minute left to go before this timer goes off.
Oh man, timers.
And I was getting like the bad, like, oh god, this is like Final Fantasy VII with a bomb, make a reactor. Like, I'm getting PTSD from this.
Yeah, old school timers are so stressful.
And then you get to the boat and you see Quistis. I'm like, help me get on the fucking ship.
Right? You're like, please
help me. So that was pretty awesome. The head of the entire academy or garden is basically Robin Williams.
That's exactly what I thought when I saw him.
Thank you.
I was like, he's just like chunky Robin Williams with a hot wife.
I'm not the only one who thought this. But like, he gives Selphie, who is just a simple messenger. We'll get to Selphie in a bit. White, Tyson, and Squall basically, oh, you passed. You were now official mercenaries. Oh, Quistis, you are too. You suck as a teacher.
Yeah, they're like, you're not a good teacher. Look at Cypher.
Yeah, which, to be fair, yeah,
He did fail 5 times or something, so.
Yeah. So then you had the celebration where Squall with his classic, whatever, the best line of the game.
I'm going to get whatever tattooed on my throat.
Please don't.
In the text
Renoa
box.
Shows up, which I thought Renoa's introduction
was great.
Both times was fucking awesome. Like her showing me to the party, the ballroom dancing was really cool. And then
it was cool.
She just appears again in the iconic like blue coat
in her normal outfit.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I'm the resistance fighter that you were hired to help."
It's called like,
okay,
fuck.
That's cool.
The interesting thing too is she's special right off the bat.
Oh, completely.
Because
and I love games like that do that.
Because Squall, why the fuck would he dance?
Yeah. I like how she's like, "Oh, you're the best looking guy here."
Yeah.
He's just like,
you're like, you know your crush Cypher's here, right?
Yeah. Oh, that part annoyed me. It's like basically Squall ends up getting the sloppy seconds of Cypher. It's implied they fucked.
It's kind of implied, yeah. I like to think they just kissed.
Probably. Like basically this is what happened in my opinion.
They're innocent.
We had a moment of Grease where there was summon lovin'.
Yep.
And it happened so fast.
It's actually that is exactly how I was imagining it when they were telling me the story.
Oh, so when I heard that there was history, I'm like, oh god damn it, here we go. And then, you get to Timber, you deal with the trains. That was really cool. And then
the trains, man. The fucking trains.
Oh, that train fight.
The explanation took so long.
You're done. Wait, you had struggles with that little minigame?
No, it was just such a long and
you
thorough.
Had a problem with that?
I thought it was hilarious.
It was so easy.
It was easy, yes. Just their explanation was really long and thorough.
Oh my god.
And I was just laughing the whole time. I was like, yeah, I get it.
Like, I actually read it because I didn't want to fuck up. Knowing me, I'd fuck up.
Oh yeah.
QTEs are not my greatest strong suit.
It wasn't even a QTE. Yeah, it was just like a don't wait too long.
Make sure he doesn't see you. Like that part I'm not good with. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure everything the fuck out because I don't want to fuck this up.
Right.
And I did it first try.
Yeah, it wasn't hard. It was a very easy mission.
Yeah. And then you had to fight the zombie, the fake president, which perfect idea, by the way, for politicians.
Yeah, I was like, no way he's there. That was my thought process when they were telling me the mission.
Oh yeah, and it's like, oh, poor Renoa. Like, she's leading a fighting resistance, and she's just not the smartest kid.
She's just naive.
Poor thing. Yeah, like the poor thing.
And
thinking it's gonna be over like that.
In my Renoa section, I do talk about that a little bit, and I talk about how I like how Squall calls her out.
Yes, that was great. Like, basically, he's like, "Are you fucking stupid?"
He's like, "This is my job. You're wasting my time. Stop."
Oh my god, he was such an asshole.
To be fair, did he ever finish that job? Technically?
No, actually, I don't think he did. He got a promotion and fucked off.
Yeah. They're like, screw Timber, we'll deal with it later.
Exactly. And so on the train, the first train before meeting Renoa, I forgot about this part. The dream sequences.
Oh, that was so cool. I was like, what's happening? What's going on?
A little annoyed because I was actually getting into the story at this point. This is before the story lost me.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're dealing with Laguna and Ward and Kiros. Kiros is a bro, hands down.
Kiros is a bro.
Kiros is the bro of Final Fantasy bros, let's be honest. And you deal with that story arc, and I'm like, at first I was like, okay, this is bullshit going on here. But then I'm like, okay, all right, I'll give it a shot. This is actually kind of interesting.
At first I was like, okay, this is weird. And I didn't care for them that much. I was like, all right, they're fine. I want to know what's
just
going on
random
with Squall and Selfie and Zell right now. And then
Yeah.
but yeah, the Laguna stuff got better and better,
It definitely got better.
and I kind of wanted more of it.
Yes.
I would have liked one or two more sections instead of him just telling us everything that happened.
Yeah, that part.
But I
Exactly.
understand it because back then, I mean, it's a 4-disc game with incredible graphics, and it's fairly like a good length with a lot of aspects to it. They probably couldn't fit the storage on the discs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which, I mean, if you look at like Legend of Dragoon, they have the same issue with some things.
Yes. Yes.
But that's just technology restrictions.
So then they deal with somehow Cypher gets involved again, like his bullshit decides to come calling, and decides to turn bad guy after getting, hey, want to be a knight?
So
fuck yeah, let's kill everyone.
Remember that movie thing I mentioned?
Yes.
So he was playing. He was playing a knight in that.
Yeah. Which
So
I get, it's cool, but at the same time, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna save the world by killing countless people.
Well, and if you also go back to that GF thing that we mentioned, how he probably didn't have one, so he knew who Adia was.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna help my mom, pretty much. And then
that's a good point.
Another evidence to that is him teasing Zell and calling him a chicken wuss.
Him bullying Zell was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. Because if you look at the flashback scene, he's still being a jerk to Zell. He still has that rivalry with Squall, and so my perspective is he never forgot any of that. So him and Irvine were the only two who like knew.
Yeah, I can see it.
And that's why he kind of went that way. God, fucking Irvine. His intro was like cool. I was like, okay, cool sniper. This will be fun.
You get to the garden. And it's like, okay, we're changing your job. You're gonna become assassins now. This isn't Assassin's Creed. Okay.
Well, you're mercenaries, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
I have no problem
go
with
to this major city, which was modeled after Paris. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Like the area where you fight Adia and Cypher for the first time was like the French monument.
Yep.
In Paris. Pretty dope. So you go there. You basically the contract is from Renoa's dad.
Yep.
Which that was a nice twist.
Also, her mom was Julia from the Laguna sequence, which is weird.
Oh yeah, that part was really fucked. If Laguna had actual balls, like Squall would probably not be alive, and Renoa would probably be the one with the gunblade.
Who knows? Everything would be killed from Adele.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And so the assassination mission, which I thought was very intricate.
It was really cool.
It was awesome.
I actually got really annoyed at Quistis. Because she's like, I should go apologize. I'm like,
and gets locked in a fucking room.
Why are you apologizing? And then another thing, why the fuck is there a timer lock? Who does that?
And then the one part that pissed me off the most with this entire mission was Irvine, or Irving, however you pronounce it, chickening out.
Yeah, and I think that's like him being like that's like my mom.
That might have, looking back, that probably makes more sense.
Yeah, and I think like once you realize he knew, that makes it very hard. Plus he doesn't like, yeah, he was a coward and he admits it, which I respect. Okay, I give him that.
If that's the case, you should just grab the sniper yourself. And
yeah, I was like, why didn't Squall just take it?
Thank you. I'm not the only one who thought that.
Yeah, I was like, you might miss, but at least you're taking a shot.
Thank you.
Then yeah.
Oh my god. And then of course Renoa tries to save the day on her own.
Yeah, because she feels, almost oppressed and like
Which
so like looked down upon.
I feel like
and
whenever she tried something, she just failed.
I mean, in this situation, how would you expect her not to fail?
Yeah, exactly. It's also the first disc. What are you gonna do?
Right. But I mean, I thought she had a good idea, trying to stop the magic use.
Yeah, I did her plan was sound, but I just knew from the
Her
get go it was
plan,
gonna
yeah,
fail, so I wasn't
her
invested.
goal was sound. Her plan might not have been great because she was alone.
Yeah.
But
and then the fight with Cypher, the first fight, where he desperately tries to be a new Sephiroth. Let's be honest. Like that's how I perceive it as. He desperately wants to be like the big bad. Like obviously he's trying to be a knight and he sees good in what he's doing. Also because he's protecting mommy.
to be fair, everyone sees good in what they're doing. But
yeah, but like how he was acting and how he portrayed himself, it was very like tropey, obviously, but like classic RPG villain, which kind of from everything else in the story I didn't get. If that makes sense. Like you've had like an urban realism kind of deal to it, and then all of a sudden you get this guy who's stuck in like Final Fantasy II.
He's a very like classic European style character, though.
Yeah, well,
his appearance, his love for knights.
Of this game or inspiration.
What?
But yeah, Cypher did not hit home with me as a villain. He was just a nuisance.
I thought he was important, and he was. I like Cypher a lot after playing the game. I didn't like him during the game that much.
Yeah, like maybe thinking more about it, maybe I'd have more of a different opinion of him, but he was just...
Specifically the end credit scene when he's fishing.
Oh, I will get to that when we get there.
I think that scene made me like his character.
I have problems with that part, and I will get to that when we get there. And my final part with Act 1, which, like I said, I loved Act 1, was Adia deciding to shish kebab Squall, and somehow he survives, I think because a Phoenix Dom was put into play.
No, he was hit in the shoulder. It was a non-lethal blow. It looked like
he got dead on to the chest.
Yeah, that's just the whole graphical thing. Yeah. He was hit in the shoulder. I think the like the creator did confirm that. He's like, yeah, he was hit in the shoulder.
And that's fine.
He's fine.
Because I know there were theories out there like, oh, this entire thing is Squall's. Like,
yeah, so the Squall died at the end of disc 1, and then the Renoa's, the Ultimacia, were both discredited by the creators.
Thank you, fucking God.
Which makes sense, because if either of those were the case, the whole themes of the game would not work.
Oh yeah, like if that was the case, it'd just be stupid. And then so with Act 1 over, Act 2 or Disc 2, they're in prison, and you get the generic prison escape sequence, which I found very annoying.
I thought it was okay. I didn't really have too much of an issue.
Legend of Dragoon was better.
Yes, I agree with that.
Also liked how at this part, this is the part that lost Cypher for me, when he's talking to Squall in the cell. He basically is like, "Be scared of me." And it's like, I've known you for years. Fuck off.
Yeah, but he was also torturing him.
And he was getting pissy. He's like, "Be afraid of me." He's like, "I just got stabbed by a fucking witch. I'm not scared of you." And then he brings the cute little like sand shrews. Like they were Pokemon. They were
Pokemon for sure.
And it comes in and it's like, "Oh, these guys are adorable. Hello." Kindly escort him to the torture chamber.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't really have any issues with the prison. It didn't stand out to me at all. It was just kind of like a necessary part to be there. Like, oh yeah, we have to get out of this place.
And Renoa gets a get out of jail free card because she's, rich.
Yeah.
And her dad is in the military, so she can easily get out.
Yeah, he's a high up in the military, and
exactly. So she'd be fine. Right after that, the missiles.
That was one of my favorite parts of the game.
I enjoyed the selfie part.
Selfies part specifically was one of my favorite parts of the game.
Yes, completely, hands down. I liked the sneaking around until you got to the control room.
Yep, you had the stealth aspect.
I actually helped people. That was great.
Yeah, there was a lot of...
It also showed that, the Galvadians weren't all douchebags.
Yeah, so between like that section, and then there was also is it Timber? I want to say
yes, Timber.
There was a guard who, it might not have been Timber, but he was like worried about getting demoted because he wouldn't be able to propose to his girlfriend. And then the whole
yeah,
Biggs and Wedge, the whole Biggs and Wedge storyline, it all shows them humanizing and showing that there's pain and suffering on every side of the war. It's very subtle, but I thought it was powerful.
I love how it shows like sometimes the villain or like the goons of the villain are they're still human. They're just following orders. They're
There's
doing what
two sides to every story. Yeah,
it's great. I liked how you felt like you failed with the missiles actually going off and hitting the garden.
Yep. And then
like
who did you have in your party for that?
I had Zell because I did not like him, and also I needed to level him up.
Yep.
And I had Irvine because I thought him and Selfie's character interaction was fantastic, by the way.
Okay, so I had the same party for similar reasons.
I wanted to level him up, and I thought I would get some good like dialogue from those two.
Yep. So I had Selfie obviously because she needed to be there. Yes. I put Zell in because he was my second strongest at that point. Huh. Yeah, because that was before I like had decided on my party, so he was just in there longer. So he was a higher level and stuff. I was like, he'll be your guardian, and then Irvine, because I was like, I don't want him with Renoa or Quistis. And I liked his interactions with Selfie as well.
I felt like having Quistis at the Balam Garden was probably better.
Yeah, I thought that made more sense.
And also Renoa not leaving the side because she's also a good magic user.
Yeah, and then I wanted Renoa's Squall because she had no stake in the Selfie mission really. So it just made more sense. Plus Squall was like in charge of her contract, so in my head I was like, it's just a logical place for her.
That's pretty sound actually. And then, once you get to Balam Garden, that's where I started losing interest in the story. Because it was the first major
before we're there, I just want to say that when they're reflecting on like, why'd they pick me? We failed. That was when Irvine's character development really started. And then it was really good at showing Selfie's personality, like how she's a little insecure and everything. And
it was perfect for those characters.
It was very, very good.
Having that moment, I loved it. But
also, there was an Easter egg on one of the computers where you could make someone dance. Fun fact. I saw that on the
once you
internet.
get to Plum Garden, you have that mutiny.
Oh, when the Norg guys are fighting the
Nog.
Yeah, that part was a little weak.
That's when I started losing interest in the game. Obviously, the combat I was very pissed off with it already.
Yeah, I think if you didn't like the combat, that would hurt.
I had an issue with it because it was like, okay, what the fuck's going on here? Like, why is there a rebellion going on? You would think there'd be more context, or like even a mention of Norg at all to start tension brewing. So when you get there, then that's when it happens. I felt like that part.
Well, the thing is, I mean, why would Sid tell anyone about Norg? Really?
Like, even then, like I want like maybe teachers or something like that start setting up attention, because it was just completely out of left field. It's like, oh, why is my home on fire and why are people killing each other?
Well, I mean, you are in the middle of war, and then they do explain it after you fight Norg. Sid's like, yeah, this guy's pissed. He has all the money. He controls everything, really.
I feel like that should have been said before.
There was no time.
Like when you get to Balam Garden, it's like, what's going on? Like, it was just very weak.
Well, the guy you ask what's going on, he says, whose side are you on?
With Norg?
Yeah, but like, why?
Said, are you with Norg or are you with Sid? I'm like, I'm not with any. I'm trying to stop missiles from killing you all.
Right. So entering there, and if someone says that to you, you're like, huh? And since you know Sid, your default thought process is to go with Sid, which happens to be the wrong answer, which is great.
I actually went with Norg with most of those.
I did not. I was like, I'm gonna kill you fuckers. It was
like,
just a monster,
up until I saw them about to kill children.
Right.
Yeah, they're killing innocent little children because of two people having a financial dispute.
I mean, that's what war is.
Yes, I understand. But it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You want to run this place, but you're trying to build an army. You're killing your army. The fuck?
Yeah, no,
And
it was a weaker part, but it wasn't like
I,
the worst thing in the world.
then facing Norg, which let's be honest, Norg had a nutsack as a chin.
Yeah, he did.
I sought to rip that off his face, which I could not because I used
I was
everything
disappointed in that fight because I thought there was gonna be more to it. That whole part, it could have been fleshed out a little bit more, but it was more there for like the promotion part of it, more than anything. And the movement.
And then somehow the garden becomes mobile, crashes into Fisherman's Horizon. Sid realizes, oh fuck, they're gonna blame me for this. Hey, Squall, want to be the new leader?
He's like,
that's
bye.
All that was. He was in deep shit and shifted to the next person near him.
Yep, he's like, I'm gonna go with this kid who's a dick.
And everyone's like, Squall, we're here for you. And he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Leave me alone. Oh
yeah,
my god.
Sid was funny because after that he was gone. Like, you didn't see him. He's like, I'm hiding.
Sid basically fucked off after that, which was fine because he did kind of just damage an entire town.
Yeah, I mean.
And also pretty sure Nor's friends and buddies would probably try to kill him if he ever showed his face.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not loyal to Norg because he's not paying them anymore, but
that's true.
They're mercenaries. That's what they do.
So then you gonna shift a little to the
I kind of wish Sid would have been there to be like, this is kind of like guidance to how to lead.
Yes, that would have been fine. Instead you have Quistis helping. Which and she's good and everything, but she's not.
But she did get fired from an instructor role. But
yeah, like she's fine except for the fact she's a terrible teacher.
Yeah, and I was like, why did you give Squall power and not Shu?
Yeah, Quistis would have been a better leader at that time.
Quistis or Zu, the XU girl.
Yeah. So then you move around.
You got that iconic part about the hot dogs.
Yes, the hot dogs. Oh my god, Zell and his hot dogs. I'm pretty sure like he would try like creepy sexual things to a hot dog. He talked about them so many times.
Hot dogs. So yeah, I mean that part was a weaker part of the story, for sure.
Then Horizon, or as FH as they call it, which I thought was stupid. Let's call it Horizon.
That's because they didn't want to type out the full word.
The date scene, quote unquote. With Squall, which I also put here. The first 2 discs, she is actually like Jessie from Final Fantasy VII the remake, because she is at levels of thirst that I have not seen. Because she tries way too fucking hard to get him. And every other party member, Squall's an absolute dick. But it's like, hey, look, if he gets some pussy, he might be a better guy. Renoa, you seem to like him. Let's get these 2 together, even though they do not look at all compatible at this time.
Which is so interesting because when I saw that, I was like, oh, they're super compatible. But that's just because
obviously they're gonna end up falling in love by the end of the story, and I knew that.
Right. Yeah, on a surface level, unless you, I think, can understand how Squall works mentally, you'd be like, this isn't gonna work. And Selphie even says something about that later on, where she's like, didn't think that straightforward approach would work on you. I'm like, shut up, Selphie. What do you know?
Oh my god. But the date turned out pretty nice, except for the you don't know me, let me get to know you, fuck you kind of thing. It's like, dude, he had moments. And this was the one thing, the only issue I really had with Squall. He had moments where he was about to have massive character development and just goes with, no, fuck you. It's like, god damn it.
Well, to be fair, I mean it's like
a defense mechanism, yes, but
yeah, I mean go to like the Pope and try to convert him to, Islam kind of thing. You're changing his fundamental beliefs. It's not going to be easy.
But I get it, but there were moments where it seemed like it was going to happen, where he was
because he's like, he's feeling comfortable, and then he's like, wait, no, this is wrong. This is going to end up hurting me, just like Sis.
Yeah.
Once he remembers that.
Oh my god.
Because that's all he remembers. We'll get there.
Another weak point for me was the orphanage when you get there and the revelation hits of the memories.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Um,
So weirdly enough, that was the first thing I knew about this game. Or
really?
one of the first things was there's an orphanage. And they're all orphans, pretty much. Like, I don't know why I knew that, but I've known that for
Weird.
years.
Like, I only knew that this was a love story. That's all I knew.
Yeah, I knew it was
Like,
a love
before I
story,
played.
and there was origins. And a gunblade.
The gunblade, yeah, of course. Like, when I got to that part, everyone's investigating and Irving's, recollecting. I'm like, okay. He knew this person, or he knew Selphie. That's why he's actually very kind to her. And I thought, okay, that's a big brother, little sister kind of mentality. Even though he's been flirting with everything.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't see that as that. I thought it was he wanted the sweet puce, as they say.
Sweet puce. And then it's revealed, oh, all of us grew up together, even Squall and Adia. And I just like, okay,
well,
this is a wicked
grow up
right
together
now.
is a very loose term. They were only there for a couple of years, but
then it's like, and
but they
there's
explained
a
it
YouTube
away. I thought in an okay way. I thought that was like if they didn't incorporate the GFs hurt your memory, I was gonna be like, this is the stupidest fucking thing. But since they have that aspect in the game, I was like, all right, I can live with it. It's not gonna kill me. It's gonna tie some other things together a little bit.
So there's a YouTube channel that I just recently subscribed to. It's the Rabtoons. It has Final Fantasy in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And when I beat 8, I decided to go through it.
Oh yeah, I watched that.
Squall, he had the best point about it. He's like, okay, barely use these things, and somehow we forget one of the most important moments of our development as a child. Like, what the fuck? These things, these monsters, should not be able to fuck up our memory like that. What the fuck?
I think there's another aspect you can tie onto that, which fits into the real world, which is trauma.
Trauma's fine.
So
yes, and I understand him.
They're all going to school for mercenary life, and they were orphaned because their parents all died in a war, supposedly. And then they were very young, and then they grew up. So with trauma, your memory does funky things. Yeah, so I attributed their memory loss to the GFs enhancing the memory loss, and then the whole traumatic aspects of their upbringing for the most part.
But here's the problem though, like,
but then
Cell,
Cypher,
as much as I fucking hate that character, he was adopted. He had a great child and upbringing with his adopted family. Like, obviously there's going to be trauma there, but you think he'd be able to have some memories of
no, because as far back as he can remember, he's been with these people, and they were like, yeah, you're our son. So they weren't like, you're an orphan. They were like, you're our son.
Yeah, you think he'd remember something at least. Like, they seemed old enough. But for me, that was a weak point.
It was a weak point, but I didn't think it ruined anything. It just didn't.
Like, I sat there basically saying this is a wicked asshole on how to bring everyone together. I get it, story-wise, but I thought it was one of the dumbest fucking ways.
I think it would have been more interesting, I think, if instead of like the GF memory loss, they did something with the time compression, maybe. But
if there was some
time altering, or like the alone stuff made you forget that.
See, if they went with that method, that would have been fine, and I would not have.
Yeah, there was better ways to do it, but.
And then of course, right after that, you deal with the Battle of the Gardens. Cool, I like that.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Even with the running CGI. That part was hilarious.
I have to watch that part in the remastered.
Segment was fucking awesome.
Actually, I hated the punching on the rope thing, but other than that. But that's just because the timing was weird. So, like, I would hit the button, nothing would happen. I hit the button again.
Weird fucking timing.
I'd have to hit the button like 3 times before he would actually hit sometimes. And I was like,
right?
Come on. But I assume there was some form of a cooldown built in or something. But
there had to be. But yeah, it was such a pain in the dick.
But so that took me 2 tries. It was fine.
I had like almost half a dozen because of timing. But
it was nice that it didn't kill you. They're just like, try again.
Yeah.
I was
think
very worried about that.
Yeah, the fight with Adia was very anticlimactic.
I liked it.
Which makes sense because of the story.
Yeah, I thought it subverted your expectations, and it felt good because you're like we don't want to hurt her because matron, but she's a bitch.
You had a different mentality than I did.
No, that's like the character's perspective.
Oh, I was gonna say my mentality throughout this was okay. She may have been basically a mother to me, but she literally killed the president when Donald Trump on her citizens.
Right.
Like, if she actually said "Make Albania great again," this would have been a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, no, I thought they
killed countless people,
and we didn't know she was possessed either, did we?
Yeah,
we did. We had to have.
Like, and then it's like, okay, she somehow, and it was probably her marriage with Robin Williams, completely turned her into a monster.
Yeah, I was like,
and made her want to kill everyone.
I was like, she needs to go.
This bitch out of misery.
Yeah. So my point of view personally was, I was like, all right, she's got to go. Since she was nice to us in the past, we can do it quick. But
yeah.
And then you find out she was possessed, and you're like, oh, Renoa's possessed now? Oh shit.
Oh my god. So that part was funny. Like, so Cypher's basically dead. Let's be honest, he was fucking dead.
He was hurt bad.
With some time traveling bullshit, comes in, uses full life.
Yep.
By kissing him. By the looks of it. Caressing his face.
I think she just she was whispering to him in a flashback they show later.
Whispering, yes. That makes sense.
They did show you that later.
I remember the flashback.
Yeah.
It looked like when I first saw it, it's like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, what is she doing?
Why is she all of a sudden white-ish? Is she being possessed? Is there a ghost? What the fuck? And then she is like, okay, she has feelings still for Cypher and is doing that. Because I had her in that boss fight. Actually, I think you had her anyway.
Yeah, I think you had to.
Yeah. And
just because her and Squall walked in together.
Cypher's dialogue was pretty phenomenal with that. Because basically just rubbing it in, he's like, hey, we banged.
Yeah. Remember last summer, Renoa?
No, stop it.
I will say Renoa's
goes comatose and shuts up.
I will say Renoa's switch from liking Cypher to Squall made sense to me. I can see a lot of people not thinking it makes sense, but if you look at the story, it does. And then if you look at her character, it does. So.
Oh, I completely understood why she was attracted towards Squall.
I mean, yeah, she has a type, and then she builds a relationship with this guy, and then he almost dies, essentially trying to save her and the world.
Yes.
And then he's not dead, and she's like, oh my gosh, best day ever! And then they continue to grow and everything, yeah. It makes sense.
And then, so that was Act 2. And you get to the third act, which is naturally for a JRPG with 4 discs. The third disc is where things get really fucking weird.
It's where things get weird. And then
I believe that was your exact quote once.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds like me.
So everyone's recuperating at the Balam Garden. You know, we beat Adia or possessed Adia, and that's where you find out Ultimisia. And I'm like, I want to know more about her.
Yeah, no, they didn't give her enough for sure.
Yeah,
I was
very confused.
I was really surprised. I not that surprised just because of the direction and everything, but in general, I was surprised that there wasn't more backlash to Adia's fine now.
I get into that.
I was like, huh? I understand she was possessed. There's a lot of people backing her on that. She's fine, including your boss. Your former boss, who was both an authoritarian figure, but also a little bit of a father figure. So, I mean, you have all these people saying it.
Oh my god, it was.
It felt weird, but at the same time, I was like, yeah, I don't blame them for not touching on that more because they have so much more to tell us.
Yes, and dealing with Renoa's in her comatose state.
Right, I was like, yeah, it's not a priority to have that backlash when.
Which. Okay, really fucked though. I get she's, comatose and everything, and that is a very trying moment because Squall is finally starting to get a connection with this person.
Well, so that's why he feels it, I think. So he had it, he just didn't realize it, or he was pushing it off because why
Everyone
wouldn't
else
he?
is forcing it.
No, just because he's like, I'm alone. No one's gonna hurt me. I'm gonna be alone. And then something he actually cares about seems like it's gone. He's like, how do I handle this? What's going on? And it kind of like broke his mental a little bit. So I really appreciated this part.
When I first played it, I was like, okay, there's a sudden shift. He's like, half the time he's like, please shut the fuck up. And now that she's actually quiet, he's like, I'm actually in love with her.
He's like, I miss her voice. Yeah, it's his first experience with love. It's also his first, like, he's like really opening up to her.
Yeah.
And
like,
it was a lot of development quickly.
Looking back,
reasonably.
I don't understand why I hated it so much. I thought it was out of left field when I first played it, looking back. But
yeah, it's one of those things you have to like sit on and think about to understand it more. Which I think this game has a lot of that in it.
I'm like, okay, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
Obviously, by this point of the story, I just wanted to beat the game and be done with it.
Right.
But I was like, okay, I understand this part more. And then they try to find Ellen, because she has the power of time traveling bullshit.
Yeah, which I don't know why she had that, but okay.
Yeah, like it doesn't mention how the fuck did she become like basically Hope Summers from the X-Men.
I think the reason they didn't tell you why is because they don't know. She just was born with that ability, or it was a result from the testing that she could control it or something. That's why she was tested on. So I don't know. She must have just been born with it.
And then, so then you this part made me laugh. I get it. I totally get it. I thought it was the stupidest fucking thing. Mobile battle station. Technically school. Bring it to the shore of F-Star. Find the city that way. Squall. No, I'm gonna take this comatose girl and I'm gonna cross this bridge miles long by myself with her on my back, even though I have a full crew ready to sail.
He was being selfish.
I saw that, I'm like, are you fucking dense or special? What is wrong with you, Squall?
So there's a couple defenses on that, I guess. I think the most accurate reason would just be chalking it up to Squall being selfish and wanting to just be closer to her, just in case she did wake up, I guess.
No, he wanted to find Ellen so she can use her time traveling bullshit so Renoa never gets in her coma, so then they can have their happily ever after.
Yeah.
He just wanted to use the time stuff for himself.
And yeah, he was being very selfish.
Or anything. Time travel is a bad fucking thing to fuck with.
It's very true. But I kind of thought it was cute that he carried her.
It was when they were in SR City, but the bridge that were miles long.
Yeah, I was like, really? Carrying her the whole time? Damn, yeah, bro.
Like, I actually have that in my notes. Like, it's the only thing that's in all caps. Miles long. Because I was just so pissed at that part. It's like, Squall, you are fucking.
But then the other thing is,
damn it.
You're still kind of at war.
Yeah, but okay, yes and no, because Adia is out of the equation. Yes, Galbadia and Cypher is still out there.
Right.
But Adia is out of the equation, so Galbadia is probably dealing with her.
Yeah, but Cypher's serving Ultimisia now, so we know that.
Yeah. So like they're dealing with their own shit. You don't have to deal with them right now.
But so they know that your ship took out their former leader. So in theory, you're a target. So that's another defense. I don't think that was an angle they looked at, but you could use it if you really wanted to. But yeah, it was just Squall being a selfish kid, not understanding his feelings.
And he is 17, so I will give him that.
Yeah, and he's been trained to be a mercenary and fear of abandonment and all that stuff.
And he has a lot of issues going on, so yes.
And he's in charge of a mercenary school group.
But still, it's like, the fuck, dude.
Yep.
And they get to Star City, which was fantastic. Like, Julie.
I thought the map portion, like the world map portion, was. I didn't like that, but I liked the city a lot. I liked getting there. I thought it was cool.
And then you also get the final of the Squall or sorry, Laguna flashbacks.
Yep. Which was good.
I both liked and didn't like when it came out, because obviously Laguna part was still very interesting to me, because like he's a really good character.
Yeah, which is so strange
about him. But at the same time, it was the timing they did it. Like, oh, we finally got to the city. Nope. It's like, God damn it, guys! Just when the story was starting to get interesting again, you throw it away from the main plot to go with this interesting subplot. It's like, I get it, but what the?
Yeah, and in their defense, there though, like they needed to put that in before you met him.
His story, yes.
Yeah. But I agree with you. Sometimes it felt a little abrupt. Sometimes you're just like, oh, dreaming again.
Yep. Oh, pass out.
I liked that there was. I don't know if it was the same in every playthrough, but Zell had a Ward background or flashback that I didn't play as. And he's like,
yeah, that was
in the prison break, he was like, yeah, Ward was a janitor here. And I was like, oh, interesting. So it's not just when we're together. And I thought that was a nice twist. I was never played on again, but it was nice to know it was a thing.
I think looking back, that was only used because with her time traveling bullshit. I'm not calling it time compression. I'm calling it time traveling.
She was not compressing time.
Well, using her magical power, she was able to connect.
She was pretty much, you were just seeing things through someone else's eyes. So it was like Christmas Carol, but a little less personal.
Yeah. So I thought that was a missed opportunity, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the entire thing with space. Oh, sorry. Before that, Dr. Ordine.
That fucking guy.
The true villain.
He was the true villain. I was like, why don't they just destroy the machine?
But this motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, why don't you just destroy the machine now? See if that fixes it.
So, like, first off, there was one thing that he and Ultimisia did share. So she probably got it from him because of time traveling bullshit.
Their weird ass pronunciation.
Why did every letter? I mean, why was there a K instead of a C?
Yeah, she only did it one time though, didn't she?
No, she did it quite often.
Did she? I only noticed it the one time.
There were hard K's instead of C's. And
that's compression with a hard K.
Cursed C. It's like, okay, calm
down.
I
thought you meant with just the word compression. But yes, no, she kept doing it.
Replaced the letter C with K.
Yeah, it was weird. I noticed that as well.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. I assumed it was just like to give her the essence of an accent.
Yeah, which
I'm like, that's not how accents work.
He was in like a Jetsons landscape setting.
And he was trying to be French?
Who had a feudal Japan outfit.
Yeah.
Who had a French hairstyle and all that. And mustache. And was probably German.
Oh, yeah, he was German. That's what it was.
Like,
the machine!
So mixed in there.
I'm like, what the hell?
In a universe that doesn't have any of that.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy any of his conversation. Just because of how he talked. But...
And when it was revealed, oh, I build this machine.
He's like, oh yeah, I fucked you all.
Because he didn't build it yet. So, if I learned anything from the butterfly effect,
I was like, kill him! Kill him now!
Kill the motherfucker now, and all of this problem would have gone away. And
I thought he had built it, but it got perfected in the future. I thought he had built it.
I think he was like with the prototypes, but it's still not perfect. If you stop the motherfucker dead in his tracks, you will not have the problem.
There were some better solutions than time travel for stopping time travel, but that's
the best
okay.
solution is murdering this guy. Plain and simple. Okay. He was one character I wanted to die, but I was super pissed off that he didn't.
I know. I was like, he's alive.
What the fuck?
I was like, you're gonna make Ward not be able to talk, but this guy can.
Seriously. And then you had the party split one more time, which I thought was cool.
I liked that they kept doing that, because
So
my
that way,
normal style of play is very balanced, so I never
yeah,
have an issue with that sort of thing. And then I just like that it gives you more time with each character, where you wouldn't necessarily have.
exactly. Like you had Squall, Comatose, and I put Questus. Those were my big three.
That was my main party.
So they went to the lunar base, which also, if they are able to go to space, Estar should be unstoppable.
It should be,
It's
but
like they were playing.
they're also only ones not in a war.
Yeah.
But
Well, they're in a Cold War.
I had
Now
Selfie go instead of Quistis.
Interesting.
That's just because I was trying to level Selfie up at that point.
Yeah. And then I had obviously the other characters. Estar was getting attacked by Lunatic Pandora.
Oh, that was stressful for me because I hadn't done my junctions for one of them or something.
I'm so sorry.
Or yeah, I didn't do the junctions for Irvine, and then I had light junctions for Zell. Or no, I had none for Zell or Irvine, and Quistis had junctions, so I had to split hers up. And it was fine. I never had any issues, but it was stressful at first.
I am so sorry.
Well, that's not the worst.
So I dealt with that entire mission. Obviously, I think you deal with Lunatic Pandora first, because it's not like one of those where you switch back.
Yeah, you do the on the ground, and then you do in space.
Yeah, and then you basically Zell and the group gets yeeted out of Pandora back into Estar.
Yeah, they
do. Which I thought was hilarious, and I even yelled out loud, "Yeet!"
I will say space was probably the best part of the game.
Yes.
I thought it was fun, it was interesting, tense, and then it had that like, and then you were like, "Damn, Squall, you serious?" When he just like says, "Fuck you, I'm going into space."
Yeah.
You also get some information on the
points.
Yeah, which I thought fit in his growth and everything.
He's 17.
Right. And then you also get that flashback showing that she whispered into Cypher's ear about Ultimacia. And then you get that wonderful scene of the two of them on the Ragnarok.
Oh my god, that scene was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was probably the best scene of the game.
And also you had the song Eyes on Me in the background playing with it.
Yeah, it was perfect. There was I had no issues there other than like I had to like continue. I was like, no, just a little longer.
Like I wanted to stay on the Ragnarok just a bit longer with that scene.
Yeah. But that's the point. Which was nice because you're like, damn, I'm feeling what they're feeling right now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
This isn't supposed to happen.
That was the part where I finally like, okay, this romance actually has some merit.
Yeah, I think it gets a lot of shit just because people don't like Squall because he's different, but it's very good.
But it was at that point I'm like, okay, I'm fine with it. Obviously, I still hate this game. Combat kind of ruined it. The story has a lot of holes from up to this point. But
I wouldn't say holes, but I would say like
you know what I mean.
Blurs.
Yeah, like there's some
could be cleaned
issues. Yeah. And it's awesome. Like that was a great scene. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. And then you're just like cut off. They're like, "Hey, let's go." Yeah. Also, I was like, "How the fuck are they still alive?"
She's like, this was probably the smartest decision she had. I'm like, look, I'm a liability. I'm just gonna go freeze myself in carbonite.
Yeah, she was like, over. "Get rid of it, please."
Yeah, deuces.
So yeah, that was cool. And then
no, I finally got you. I'm not letting you go.
Yeah, he's like, "What the fuck? No, we're gonna do this my way." Together.
Yeah. Even though completely taking her away from something that she agreed to, and kind of pissing off some Estar military people, probably.
Yeah.
He gets a free pass because basically Laguna, who is his dad, let's be honest.
They did everything except for directly say it.
Yeah, like he's his dad.
If you are in the Ragnarok and with Warren Krios and stuff, if you talk to Krios, I think he's like, "Man, you're lucky you look like your mom and not your dad."
Yeah, like completely at that point.
I was like,
it's like,
could you be any more obvious?
Yeah. I figured it was his dad from the fucking minute I laid eyes on Laguna, because his hairstyle was, if Squall had it long, You kind of like look
So
the same.
my thought was either you're playing current soldiers, just showing like a different perspective, or it was the very beginning of how the war started. And then after like I hit the second scene, I was like, oh, this is probably like something like Squall's dad, or something like, you know, coming up later, something to show like Renoa's past or something. I felt like it was one of those two things.
It's like it's his dad, like completely. And so he gives Squall one more job. Let's go to Lunatic Pandora, kick Cypher's ass, stop Adele, save the world. I kind of wanted Laguna, Heroes of War to be part of the party at that point.
It would have been
like
real interesting if you had like a section in the map where you played as them, but
yeah,
it wouldn't have made sense.
It probably wouldn't have, but like I feel like at that point
it would have been cool.
Really fucking dope. And then you head to Pandora, deal with Cypher, somehow lives, and his crafty bullshit gets Renault into trouble.
Yep.
And then you have to fight.
It's worth noting too that that's when his friends were like, "Dude, you're not you anymore, man."
Yeah, it's like when a druggie is finally confronted by his family,
and that was really cool.
I did enjoy that. That was like the ultimate character development for those two because I was ready to just kill them.
Oh yeah, I didn't like them, and then I saw that and I was like, "That's cool." I still don't like them. Note that. They're just there to show Cypher's development and change, and then he doesn't agree to it right away, but once he realizes it, that's when you get to that fishing scene. You're like, he finally gets it. He's grown in a much different way, but in a similar way to Squall. Because they're a yin-yang, essentially.
And then you get to the Adele fight, which I did enjoy that fight because I do like when
I like fights.
A party member is like in trouble and stuff like that, and if you actually just go like you normally do it,
yeah,
get a game over.
I will say the boss fights were really creative.
I did like that.
Yeah, I liked a lot of the boss fights.
Very disappointed there was no singing with Adele. Very disappointed.
You just hear, hello.
Like the second her name was mentioned, I'm like, what?
Right?
Is she gonna set fire to the rain?
Right. Kind of. Yeah, no, that was a really easy fight as long as you didn't kill Renoa.
Yeah. Oh my god,
which was fine, and it made sense in the context of the game because like, bitch has been frozen for however long.
Okay, at least 17 years.
Yeah, long time.
And then there's the time traveling bullshit.
Yeah.
Where you finally, it's like, okay, we need to kick Ultimisia's ass. So you basically jump through time. At that point, I was kind of just like looking at my phone. I'm like, okay, I just want to kill this bitch. I just want to get over with.
Before we get into her palace, I think it's important. Laguna points out that you need the togetherness aspect, which is a common theme in this game.
Yes.
I thought that was interesting, and it
gotta go Power Ranger style.
And yeah, so having him say that was helpful for like the context of the ending after you beat her, as well as emphasizing some core themes of the game.
Yeah.
And then you get to her castle, which is fucking cool.
So I got a very Castlevania kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, I liked her castle a lot.
Oh, it was so cool. I hated going through it because of the fights and the lack of every possible command.
Oh, it was cool.
But I really enjoyed the setting, the castle.
Did you get all your abilities back?
I don't think I did. Like I got like obviously magic, the summons, the items, basically just the things that you need to fight.
So
Once
I got
those. I just ran back and saved, and by that point, like your levels are so high, like you can almost like if you play it right, you can one shot most of these creatures in here, or maybe 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah.
And then I was fine doing that.
I did not get items back.
Oh,
because I didn't use items.
because of my gameplay style.
Yeah, my gameplay style is magic, so I got my GFs, my magic, resurrect, and save, and draw.
Yeah, resurrect. That was definitely one I needed.
Because I had 2 people die in one of the boss fights. And, oh man, I thought I was gonna game over because I was like low health with Squall, and I don't know what I did. I like triple casted something, or I had a couple of my special moves or something, and I won with like 400 health. I was like, yes, that's 1 hit.
Shit.
And then I had to get resurrect to get the other 2 up. But I thought that was an interesting,
quick and easy way to solve that. If you were close enough to the entrance, just run back.
You just run back. I was balls deep in, so.
If you were balls deep in, then you were fucked.
Yeah.
But that boss fight with Ultimisi at the end, where she also, like I said, hard Ks instead of Cs.
Dude, it was so good.
That was a very good boss fight.
It was a marathon.
Days, though.
It took me 4 tries.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Each one took like an hour and a half, I feel like.
Ugh.
So I finished the game at 1:04 a.m. is when I time-stamped the beating the fight. Just because I took a picture and sent it to you. But the timestamp on the picture is 1:04. And then the very end credit, like the end screen, is at like 1:22. So it's a really long cutscene at the end, which is cool.
It is. But yeah, oh my god. At this point, this is when I decided, okay, I know I'm at the final boss. I'm gonna kick this bitch's ass. I'm going full on cheat codes. Like I said, by the time I reached Ultimisi's castle, I was done.
You were done, yeah.
I just wanted it to be over, so I'm not a fan of cheating in games, you know that.
Right.
But if I hate a game and I just want to get it over with,
yeah, you're just like, I'm just here to finish it. Yeah, I get it. I get that. I didn't know that my party was gonna be mixed up.
Yeah, you fucked up on that one big time.
That was my biggest mistake in this entire game. I
laughed at that hilariously.
Because I had, so my levels were, Squall was 54, I think. Quistis was like,
so we were around the exact same.
Yes, Quistis was around 50, or not 50, 46 or 44 or something. Renault was like 37 or so. Selfie was like 30. Zell was 18. Irvine was 15.
Dude, what the fuck? All of my characters were at least at level 35.
I didn't touch Zell or after a certain part of the game, and I didn't really touch Irvine ever.
I see that clearly.
And so my first fight, it brought me in with my like normal team setup.
Yeah, which is what is expected.
So I was like, cool, I'm just gonna win. And I was fucking 2 hits away. I was in the text part, and and I had no cures left, and Renault was the only person left alive. And she casted Meteor. I was like, no.
Like, I wrote you, hit the bitch fast. Like,
and I was hitting her. I was like, just attack, because I had no heals or anything.
This was the reason why, because I knew if you died, it would just be all for nothing.
And I died at the very possible end. So that was the tensest boss fight I've had in a really long time.
It was very entertaining. Like, even though I had cheat codes up the ass, I was ready to end it. It was one of those where I'm like, after a few tries, I'm like, okay, I need to get serious.
The second one, I was so salty.
I need to get serious.
Yeah, I was so salty at my second attempt, and it brought in my other characters. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I have to play with other people. I thought they just came in after my main people died."
Too hard.
And then, and none of them were junctioned, of course. And they just instant
I feel
died.
like you do that. Like, you obviously you didn't like certain characters, so you didn't even bother junctioning them or getting them ready for a fight.
Well, like, normally you just have 3 people in a fight, so I just put my junctions on them, and then switch if other people are going to be in the fight, which I ended up doing. But in the second attempt, the Griever section, he stole. So Renoa was my tank. She had the most health and everything.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that she was just like my mage up the ass.
Yeah. So I had just like the timing on because of my haste and stuff. Um, she was gonna triple cast Kiriga like on her next turn, and he stole her health junction, and I was like, okay, that sucks. So I lost 70% of my health, which brought me down to a low amount. And then he did his like ultimate move, and that killed us all because I was getting ready to heal, and then he took away all my health to survive the attack. Yeah. In which case I was gonna cast full life.
Man, that part of the fight.
And then I was just still salty about those two on the third attempt, and then I casted haste instead of cure because I was just like, I want to get this done. And
oh my god,
did not work out. And then the fourth time I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it the way I was supposed to, and I fixed my junctions. Irvine and Selfie just got one shot just because they got killed before they had a turn.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't have a health junction for them. And then Zell actually popped off, and he did the majority of the damage in phase 1 for me. Because
I played with a very bold strategy.
Of cheat codes?
Not that too. But, with Renoa, because obviously she was a very key part, I didn't use Angel Wing for a good first few tries.
I never used it.
Because I had the mentality of, if I'm going to beat this game, I want to have Angelo do it. I want the true god of this game to save us.
That's so funny. So in the 4 fights, I didn't get one single. In the 4 fights, I didn't get a single limit. Which is
that's
absurd.
the problem with cheat codes. You can get the limit breaks like that, but at the same time, I wasn't fast enough. Even at this absolute moment, I was not fast enough to stop him.
I will say Cerberus was the key to victory for me.
Cerberus saved your ass. See, a dog saves us somehow.
Yeah, because triple cast, man. Because everyone just gets double and triple, and then you can just full life if they fall before they get taken away, and then you can and then once she has that bottom section where she does the apocalypse move, which is overpowered as shit, you can steal that, draw it, triple cast it, it kills the bottom before it even gets cast, and does 20,000 damage if you're not hitting max damage. I think I was doing 25,000 per triple cast.
I think at that point I used almost all of my my haste magic.
Just
so I could have everyone go fast.
Yeah, I was triple casting haste and protect and shell. Yeah, no. It was a easy fight, but it was a long fight, and then you kept losing things, and then it felt harder than it was.
I almost gave up. And just said, fuck it, I'm done with this game. But I'm no, I'm at the final fucking boss, I can't do it.
Yeah, you can't do it at the final boss, especially with cheat codes.
I can't do it.
Yeah. And then that end scene.
So
I fucking love the end scene.
I love how, with the power of friendship and love, Care Bear style, is defeated.
So she's defeated, and then the togetherness and people caring and remembering you kind of brought you together. I thought, which has been used before. I liked that enough because it incorporated and it was incorporated in the development of Squall specifically.
Yeah, and then Squall had to deal with the last bits of time traveling bullshit.
Yep.
Which, basically, he is responsible for Seed being established.
Yep.
The garden idea.
He's like, yeah, this is your idea. Thanks, bro.
Idea basically getting powers. That was Ultimisia's last final attempt, probably, but dealing with the past even before she became Adia. Before she was this sorcerer, she became one because of this. All the time.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
And then he gets basically stuck in the void, or life stream, time stream, whatever you wanted to call it. And because of the promise at the flower bed scene,
which was beautiful.
I loved bringing that back.
Yeah, it was really nice.
With Eyes on Me still playing. So I'm all right, this is fucking awesome. All right, and Renoa helps him come back, and then you get with the epilogue with once again Eyes on Me still playing.
Yep,
love it.
The whole party scene at the end was probably my favorite Well, my second favorite part of the entire.
Ah, so good. Like
Because Zell gets his hot dogs.
so I have a big thing about it. It's great. So I'm gonna go with the cipher part first.
Okay.
After everything he's done, he gets to live a normal life. Like obviously he's not gonna be seed or anything like that. He gets to be a normal dude. He gets his goons, his buddies. It's fine. Yeah. And he has a hobby of fishing, so he gets a decent ending.
Right.
Even though
yeah.
he has
there's
nothing
closure.
but a pain in the ass.
Ooh.
And let's be honest, he probably killed countless innocent people.
I mean, yeah.
At least make him pay for his penance. Like, give him something in
I feel like
for instead of becoming a fucking fisherman.
I feel like they're more chalking it up to like whatever. Like we'll forgive that to
Like, he gets
focus
a free pass.
on. Yeah, he gets a free pass because they're like, well, he was kind of possessed, even though he wasn't necessarily. They could just like say he was, and just like it's not worth the effort, kind of thing.
And so that part annoyed me.
I mean, yeah, he should have had some form of punishment, but.
And then you had
But that was a great
final scene,
which was also brilliant. And I love that you showed that he was married to Rain, and I was like, oh, Rain!
Right? And then in the distance you see his niece, Ward, and the bro, Kiros.
You see, yeah, Kiros the bro, Ward, and then his daughter.
Yeah, like they're in the background. It's like they don't want to interrupt his moment with, like, basically his first time visiting his wife's grave.
Yeah.
Like, they don't want to get in the way.
I actually
like, that's
really
a very
liked.
Big moment.
I really like Laguna, and yes. He's like, I love this kid. She's my daughter. Oh,
niece. She called him uncle.
Yeah, but then he married her mom.
That's true. Yeah. So. And then there's the party, which you already touched base on. It's one of the best.
Oh, I love the party because Selfie's just adorable. I thought Irvine
she has
was
a camera.
was kind of
The
funny.
hat.
Yeah, when she stole the hat, I was like, yes. I thought it was kind of funny how Irvine was behaving because it fit his character, but also like you could tell he was happy.
Oh yeah, he was happy, but he was also trying to smack.
Yeah, which I'm like, all right.
Like,
and
as I put it this way, he's
was
trying
like
to flirt with Quistis, which she instant is like,
she's like, get the fuck out of here.
And then he goes to anything with a pair of tits.
Except for Adia, he was like polite to her.
Oh yeah, like that's the only one that.
Because mom.
And then Zell almost.
Zell with the hot dogs,
which I thought was a funny moment.
I thought it was funny. Yeah, it was probably the funniest part of the game for me. And then Renoa, she does the finger wag, which you see a million times in the time fuckery, and you're like, okay, what's going on? And then it ends, and you're like, what the fuck? But
you finally get Swall and Renoa to actually.
Also, you got to see Angelo at the party, so that was nice.
So, oh yeah, I must have missed Jesus.
He just walks right through towards the balcony.
I must have missed God. I'm very disappointed.
Yeah, watch it.
I
real
have to
quick.
watch the scene again just so I can find Angelo.
Yeah, he just like runs through, but yeah, and then after like a little bit more credits, you get that actual closure of Paul and Renault together, and I thought that tied all the themes together.
Yes, and finally, it's like,
and the payoff. You're like, yes, you finally did it.
I was so happy with it.
Yeah, it was a really good ending.
So the final bits, like that final cutscene, was definitely worthwhile.
Yes.
But like I said, how I felt with the story and everything, like by the point,
I think if you liked the combat, you would have had a much better feeling on the game.
Completely.
But
like I think that was a major draw that I had. Like if the combat wasn't something,
it's hard to play a game and enjoy it the way you want to if the combat isn't your style.
Yes.
Like I cannot play Dark Souls.
Oh, I can't either.
It bores the shit out of me because I don't like the combat or the movement at all, even though I know the world is very interesting. So
yes, like that's one of the reasons why I'll never play something like World of Warcraft, because the story and like the lore of it is sound. Kyle tells me all the time, but I know, like I think I have a bit of an addictive personality.
I don't really like the clicky of MMOs. Like, even though
I feel like I have an addictive personality, so if I get into it, I get into it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I know for a fact is kind of dangerous for me.
Fair.